to episode 8, Scissortail Podcast. Your co-host, Porter Cunningham, joined as always by my good friend, Will Bowersox. Will, say hello to the people.
Episode the Ocho starts now.
Episode 8, the Ocho. Will, I'm feeling refreshed after our little 2-week break. How about you?
I'm stressed as hell, man.
Yeah?
We got Twitter notifications going crazy.
Yeah.
We got a lot of questions about the team. I'm sleep deprived. I just drank a green tea.
You're all jacked up on the green tea.
I got a bunch of construction workers running around the Scissortail studios with their diesel trucks gunning the engines at all hours of the night and day.
Your street's all torn up out there. Can't even drive on it.
I feel like I need a soccer season to start to really calm me.
Well, we're almost there. I think we're, 12 days away now from,
Good news.
From opening kick. Is it? No, we're closer than that.
We're real close.
I can't do maths. We're close. So this is the penultimate episode before the season starts.
It's a big fancy word.
So from a long time ago, before we were on vacation, staycation, I don't think we had any corrections from our last episode.
I don't think so either.
But between the last episode and now, seems like ages ago, there was one final big signing for Rayo OKC.
Yeah, well, and apparently they're not done. So we'll see about that. But yeah, I think it was one of the worst kept secrets in expansion franchise history. So Giorgio Samaras, and full disclosure, I'm butchering his name, I'm sure.
I don't think that's too far off. Giorgios Samaras.
I'm just going to call him George. Or Samaras. That's what everyone was calling him at the event. So Samaras, signing with the team, very exciting. Some might say, I would say, at least in the current edition of the NASL, it's the biggest signing to date. I mean, when you've got MLS fans who are pissed that he didn't go to their team, you know you've done something right. Now, disclaimers, right? He is definitely coming off some... Well, even before we talk about that, let's talk about his background. Yeah. So he is Greek. He's a Grecian. Has played for Celtic, has played for Man City, has spent time, I believe, at West Bromwich Albion in the Premier League.
I think he only played a handful of games for them, and then they loaned him out to a Saudi Arabian side, I believe.
Okay, he's got a great highlight video. I think he's scored some goals up in Scotland that have endeared him to the Celtic fan base. And
scored a key goal for Greece in the 2010 World Cup.
I believe that was the 2014 World Cup.
Okay.
Versus the Ivory Coast.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's certainly got pedigree. He's so a couple disclaimers. He's north of 30. He's coming off of a serious back injury, and so he came to Rayo, and we'll talk about this later. But he spent the last year or so training with the Cosmos, and apparently failed 2 physicals with them.
One with them and one with well, I'm sorry, I didn't even see one with them. I think he failed one with DC United and one with a European side. Is what people say, that there's no confirmation of it, but the rumor is that he was set to sign with DC United and then also another European team and could not pass the medical at that time. So
yeah, but hey, look, if there's one city whose doctors are like pretty aggressive on sports physicals, I would say it's Oklahoma City's, right? The Thunder trade for Tyson Chandler because of his big toe or something weird like that.
Yeah.
I don't think people know we almost got Tyson Chandler. That would have been huge. Baker Mayfield, played after getting that hit, and then they took him out of the game after he had a headache. So I don't think there's anything too funky. Maybe he passed. Maybe he had a bad day with the physicals, or maybe he just wanted to sign for Rayo OKC. Maybe it's not that outlandish to say. So the big signings for Rayo OKC continue. Both Porter and I were at the signing event, had a chance to meet him, meet some other players, meet the coach, talk to some of the owners. And here's a teaser for our Free Talk segment. I asked point blank, one of the directors of business development at the club, why Samaras, why Rayo OKC, what was the pitch? He said, well, frankly, Rayo Vallecano. He was really enticed by that relationship. So keep listening, and we'll talk more about that. But
the big question with Samaras is,
where's he going to play?
Where will he play? Which I see him being as a target man up top, but also I think the bigger question is, will he return to his previous form? Will he be a goal machine?
And if I go to different hero restaurants in Oklahoma City, will I see him?
No, there is only one real Greek restaurant in Oklahoma City. Don't forget. I forgot the name of it.
Luigi's Pizza?
No. It's the one downtown. What was Michael at the Greek man at the?
Oh yeah, is it? Oh, I forget. But that was what's cool about his signing is that people from the Greek community came out. So you can tell that he's a totem in the Greek community here in town. So that was really cool.
Indeed. All right, well, let's talk about some other stuff besides Samaras. So we put a projected 11 out on the Twitter, and we wanted to talk about all of the comments and questions we got about it. So we're going to talk about that now. All right, we're done talking about all the comments and questions we got about the projected 11.
Well, I think it's hard, right? I mean, no one has had a chance to really see this team play. No one knows who some of the players. Not everyone knows who all the players are. So they've done a really good job of keeping the lineups and the tactical adjustments, keeping them close to the chest. So
yeah, we've gotten to the date. We've gotten 0 match reports from the team, which we're not faulting the team for at all.
I don't want them. We don't need them.
Yeah,
they should be holding those.
If this was year 2, I'd be really upset if we weren't getting those because I'd want to see how the new signings are fitting in and everything. But I certainly don't expect them to be pandering to us at this point. But we did finally get on the Rayo OKC Twitter account for the final preseason game a starting 11, which I want to go over real quick. Danny Fernandez in goal, which I don't think should surprise anybody. I think he'll be the starter. He might split time with Caleb Patterson, but we'll see. Then a back 4 of Danso, Rashawn McKenzie, Michel, and Kosuke Kimura. A midfield of Monsalves, Menyabar, Pekka, and Sebastian Velasquez. And then forwards of Billy Forbes and Johnson. So the questions I had from those is opening up the media guide that we got before they went on this Florida preseason trip. I don't see anybody in trialists or signed players by the name of Danso or Johnson. So unless these are more trialists we picked up along the way.
Danso Johnson.
Or perhaps they were auto-corrected incorrectly. Autocorrect screwed up, and these are other players. I don't know who those two guys are.
Any players going by one name, which clearly Danso is, you got to think he's good, right?
Yeah.
Should we just start going by one names when we play indoor?
Yes.
Hey, I'm Bauer Sox.
Yes. Yes, we should.
Well, I think what also is telling about this preseason trip is who didn't play.
Yeah, I didn't see any, and keep in mind we got no match report, so we don't know for sure if they played or not, but we have to assume they played little to 0, and those are the really big signings, with no offense to anybody that was mentioned from that starting 11 from the Jacksonville game, but nothing from Derek Boateng, Robbie Finley, George, Juanon, Marvin Chavez, and Eric Morales were not mentioned in that starting 11.
But yeah, I would say probably on the whole, I would just guess it was a good preseason. You know, we've got some results to talk about. We can try to parse through some of that, and if there's anything that we can learn from it to get ready for the season. So that's coming up in segment 2, preseason talk. Stay with us.
Will take us back to, what was that, end of February, beginning of March, when our first preseason game was?
That's right. So the club played San Antonio FC, which is a USL side. Probably a lot of familiar faces, though, from the former NASL side. The result of that game was a 1-1 draw. And actually, the video on Twitter, there's a GIF that leaked of Michel's free kick goal, probably about, I would say, 20 yards out, 25 yards out.
Yeah.
Clearly had deflected in, but certainly a nice effort, and I'll take it, right? I think so. Then, yeah, Porter, the next match, they played a team from St. Louis. Is that right?
Yeah, St. Louis FC, another USL team.
Soon to be MLS side, right?
USL to MLS.
No comment, right?
That's the way to go.
Yeah.
And the team didn't announce anything out about this, and it's out there nowhere. I mean, they announced the game was going to be played, and then after that, they didn't really say anything. But because of our stellar connections with the team, because we've been working so hard at the Scissortail Podcast to bring you journalistic, full of integrity information, we discovered that Rayo Vallecano played St. Louis FC to a 2-1 loss.
Played him tough.
And that's all we have. We don't even know who scored the lone goal. But
do you want to guess?
I would not even hazard a guess at who scored the goal.
I bet it was Samaras.
He was playing before he was even announced.
The next match, this one...
They began their Florida journey, right?
Right, that's right. So they... Actually, the day after the Samaras announcement, they flew to Miami, I'm sure via the Southwest team charter, and played Miami FC, so that's an ASL side, to a 0-1 loss. Not surprising, I suppose, just based on team chemistry. Their next match, certainly confusing. They played a team called, I want to say it's pronounced Barry University.
It's the European pronouncement.
So they obviously had a scrimmage with Barry University's team. Barry is a private university in North Miami.
North Miami?
Yeah, North Miami.
Only the Okies will understand that joke. Miami. Yeah, and the only reason we knew about that game is because, or scrimmage, I guess we should say, preseason friendly, is Sebastian Velasquez tweeted out that he did score 2 goals in that game. So we don't know what the final result was there. I don't think it matters, but good to see that somebody's putting balls in the net.
So my reaction, and granted, I'm only following along on Twitter the results, so this is a very superficial analysis, but my reaction is this is exactly what we're expecting. What we're getting from the team is what we should expect based on what we know about Marcina. Like, they are not great defensively, and they're just trying to, attack. And so, my analysis was, well, they're still gelling, and they're still trying out the try list, so their attack is no good, but they're giving up goals. And then I was like, well, this team is, I'm unimpressed. This is worrying that we're not blowing out all of our preseason matches, winning 5-0.
For all we know, the edict to Coach Marcina could be, we don't even care how you played the entire spring season. Because they literally signed their last player, or not even what they, their latest signing was 3-4 weeks before the season starts. So, for all we know, the management could say, Alan, take the entire spring season and use it as a preseason if you want, and then just come out and compete in the fall season. I don't know. But
I will say that after the results of the Jacksonville Armada FC friendly, my narrative has totally changed.
Yeah.
It went from me being pessimistic over not scoring goals and giving up bad goals. They won 3-1. That's awesome.
Yeah. And
we're a goal-scoring machine.
Richard Menuvar had 2 of those, and our boy,
Menuvar with a double.
Our boy Ian Svantesson had a goal.
I've got high expectations for Menuvar.
First goal, I guess, in the NASL, even though it was a preseason match for Ian. Which, in one note about that, in the media guide, and I think in college, I went back and looked up his college stats, by the way. I did a homer move and went back and looked up his college stats there at UAB. Ian's always played as a defender. Then in the recap, it called him a forward. So I don't know if it was off a corner or what. If they pulled him up as a center back into the box and somebody got confused, called him a forward. But he did score 8 goals his senior season at UAB. So,
was he
center back position?
Just from the center back position. Interesting. All right. Well, there's something to keep our eye on for sure. But the preseason is pretty much over. We assume the team is back here in town, finishing touches on finalizing the roster and getting ready to play. So coming up next, we will talk about what we have left to learn about the team and the run-up to the season. Stay with us. We'll be back shortly.
All right, welcome back. Segment 3, Scissortail Podcast, Episode 8. Will, we are just a few days away from opening night at Miller Stadium in fabulous Yukon, Oklahoma. What do we need to know about the team? I mean, we're 9 days away, I guess, now that I got my math correct. What are we What are we still missing from the team?
I mean, the big news that I legitimately cannot wait for is the kit reveal.
Yeah. And
Please announce it. I want to wear it. I want to buy it.
We know that that's going to be a live event that the fans will be invited to. We know that much because Eric told us, the general manager relayed to us when they are ready, when the kit's here, the shirt sponsor's done, if they secure a shirt sponsor, that will be a live event. So it's already Wednesday, the 23rd. It's got to happen next week. I saw him, there were 2 tweets on the Rayo OKC account. They said, hey, we're going to announce a lot of cool stuff today. That was earlier today. Yesterday, they said something about there's so much stuff for us to announce between now and the home opener. You're not going to believe it or something like that. So,
hypothetical question for you.
Okay.
Let's pretend in a worst case scenario that no shirt sponsor comes forward.
Okay.
The team approaches us and says, Scissor Tail Podcast, would you be a sponsor? What is the maximum amount from your personal savings that you would contribute to being a shirt sponsor?
Right here in my wallet, I would be willing to pledge right now a March 2016 calendar bonus of 50% off trout entree to Twin Peaks. Good at any Twin Peaks location nationally. It does expire March 31st.
Get the team dinner in early.
Get the team dinner in 2 nights before. I could do that.
Okay, well.
Could you just put a picture of the coupon on the shirt?
Just photocopy it?
Just photocopy it.
Well, in my wallet, I would contribute my new, recently received HSA Flexible Spending Account healthcare card. UMB Bank is the bank of record, and I can't promise much, but it gets $93 a month in replenishment.
All right.
So
you can guarantee $93 a month.
For qualified expenditures at verified retailers.
So we could...
Ibuprofen.
We could help them pay for the...
Clearasil.
For the team doctors, right?
Correct.
Okay. All right.
So, Eric, or any relevant members of the front office, if you're listening, just to recap, you've got a half-off trout dinner.
I've got other Twin Peaks coupons, too. They're only good for the month that they're in, right? So I promise every month for the rest of the year you'll have a good Twin Peaks coupon.
Twin Peaks and HSA debit card that, by the way, is I've signed it, so I have to be there for the purchase.
It's a sad state of affairs in the Scissor Tail studio.
All right, anyway, let's to happier.
Yeah, let's talk about some people that are actually making money. We've heard some. We want to talk about TV deals. So what we know is One World Sports, which was announced yesterday or the day before. I don't know. My days run together.
First of all, what is One World Sports?
So from what I understand, being an NASL newbie, they did this last year with One World Sports. One World Sports and ESPN3 were the online partners with NASL. They showed a game of the week on One World Sports.
Okay.
So the iteration this year is going to be One World Sports is a subscriber-only online sports network. It is on Google Fiber as an actual channel, but that's the only the only television provider that actually carries it right now. But for the NASL, every Saturday during the season, they will have a game of the week that is free, that is going to be live cast for free on their website. And Rayo OKC is featured thrice this season. So 2 home games and 1 away game at New York. So that'll be cool to see. And then we heard, I guess, on Twitter, the rumors that CBS Sports is no longer in the picture, and now beIN Sports is being discussed about carrying the league as a whole. So maybe they'll cover midweek games, other Saturday games, Sunday games that don't conflict with La Liga games.
I think that's great, man. If that comes to pass, beIN Sports is a great way to, if you're really into like League One or something like that. They have got some obscure soccer.
They're very good at covering soccer. They cover the championship, the English championship. They cover La Liga, League One, as you said. So, and then we have heard rumors from the front office, as we mentioned. I think I mentioned on NASL nightcap, or I'm sorry, the NASL roundtable, which was the Thursday before we went on spring break. So I'm not sure everybody who listens to us heard it, but the team has been talking to us about a local television partnership. We don't want to say too much about it, but if you're talking about local television, there's only so many options. This one happens to rhyme with your last name.
Will Poomers.
Will APP? Will
Mirect
TV? No. Will Bauer Socks. Rhymes with Will Bauer Socks. So we'll see. We'll be looking for that announcement. Hopefully they're shoring up the contract for that. And then the last thing that I want to mention is the history piece that we've been promoting for a long time that we've got quite a bit of stuff on, but nothing close to being publish ready.
I think we're looking for more interviews, right?
Yeah, I want to get more interviews. I'm objectively saying on there, I'm giving everybody mentioned in the piece a chance to speak their piece.
Are you willing to say who said yes and who said no?
Not yet. I don't want to say yet. But I have been talking to people out there, so I want to get all the interviews done, or at least extend the olive branch to certain people to say something. So I'm going to target the midsummer break for having that piece done.
And we've got some preview episodes, some preview material starting to come out. So we just did like a cool email dialogue with
the Northern Pitch,
which is an independent soccer website. So they should have a write-up with our commentary coming out soon. We're going to do a preview episode with the FC Edmonton team next week, the podcasting guys next week. We have been severely procrastinating writing a season preview for distribution to Soccer is Okay, which is a local soccer website, and the Midfield Press, where we host our podcast. So stay tuned. Stay tuned for sure.
Yeah. And then next week, or I kind of see our weekly episodes next week becoming a standard recap and then a preview of weeks to come. And then we'll insert other content in there as we can. But we want to talk about what the team does during the week, game-wise, and then what we can expect out of them as they face their competition.
All right, cool. Well, that wraps up session 2. We'll be back with Free Talk coming at you next. Stay tuned.
Welcome back. We're in our final segment, our Free Talk segment of episode 8. Will, you've got a lot of stuff on your mind, Free Talk-wise. Take it away.
Okay, first Free Talk session. Last week was St. Patrick's Day. I went to a bar to have drinks with my father. We're bonding. Good times.
Yeah.
So I'm looking for green apparel, obviously.
Okay.
And I come across, I have a little jersey section where all my sports jerseys that I wear casually are.
Okay.
I come across a green soccer jersey. I'm like, hey, this is awesome. I should definitely wear a green soccer jersey. How cool.
Oh, no. I see where this is going.
And it was an energy jersey.
Okay.
That it was their like Trafford-styled jersey that wasn't worn during games, but had the solid body and the white sleeves.
Yeah.
I was pretty pumped when I bought it.
It's a sharp jersey.
It's a sharp
No
jersey.
doubt.
I really wanted the blue one, but I bought the green one. And I can't wear that in good conscience.
I also own an energy jersey, and I also own an energy T-shirt.
Right.
Because, no secret, we supported our local energy.
Now, I've got an energy T-shirt as well that's super comfy.
Yeah.
So this begs a really important question. If you're going to start supporting, or at least become a neutral, what are you going to do with your old energy gear? I don't know what to do with this jersey. I think I got rid of the T-shirt. I think the T-shirt I donated. I have too many T-shirts.
Yeah, as do I.
So, and here's the rub, right? The easy answer is slap a number on it and wear it for indoor soccer.
Yeah.
I already have from a previous indoor team a green jersey as like a backup.
And I have my blue energy jersey, which is already in the regular rotation for indoor soccer.
So I don't have a good use for it.
I'm
I'm willing to give it away, but I don't know if that's the best use for it. I don't know what to do with it.
I don't know.
So chime in on Twitter if you're listening and you have some suggestions for what to do with old energy gear.
Sure. Can I say something that might not endear me to the fans out there?
Yeah.
I'm hoping the energy wins every game this year.
Okay.
except for a potential USOC matchup with Rayo OKC. Let me explain why. If they win every game this year, and we win every game this year, and Rayo OKC smashes them about 8-0 in the U.S. Open Cup,
Bold.
what does that say about the NASL or soccer in Oklahoma City as a whole, or where the teams are?
I don't know that it says that much, because right now the big talking point is that the USL won all 7 of its matchups in the Open Cup last year.
Yeah.
That's a really short sample size, and that's definitely not a platform to judge the future direction of those 2 leagues.
Okay, well, let me put it this way. Unlike some other organizations in this city, I truly want to grow the game regardless of the competition.
Of affiliation?
Of the affiliation competition.
Okay.
I'm not going to say grow the game except for that other team across town and make fun of them.
Oh, jeez. Don't get me started.
So, let's go energy, I guess, right?
Sure. Okay.
For every day except for June 1st.
Here's a plug. Oh, that's my birthday. Oh, damn it. I don't want my birthday to be out there.
Oh, no!
I'm not
Everyone buy him birthday presents for the U.S. Open Cup 4th round.
Don't buy me energy jerseys. Here's a plug. We should talk about this in the future. What happens if, God forbid, Rayo folds, but the energy don't fold?
I've many times thought about that, and I will cross that bridge when I come to it.
Should we talk about it in the future or right now?
In the future.
All right.
Let's talk about it in
Future
the future.
Free Talk segment. Okay. Next segment to talk about. If you follow News OK or the Oklahoma local news.
You tweeted out, too, from the Cisco account.
I thought you tweeted that out.
No, you did.
No, I thought you did.
No, you said worth keeping an eye on. Yeah.
Yeah, Yukon is apparently, the municipality of Yukon is apparently bankrupt or has had some financial impropriety and they've misappropriated funds.
They cannot fund everything that they budgeted for the rest of the year with the funds that they have left.
So it'll be up to private sponsors to build the wall that will separate Yukon from the rest of Oklahoma City.
Can I build a wall with Twin Peaks coupons?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I shall begin building it.
Look, I'm hard pressed to think that there's any effect to Miller Stadium. Miller Stadium probably makes
the lease is signed, and I'm sure Rayo's paying the. If nothing, they're not going to say don't pay us for the lease anymore.
Miller Stadium is probably one of the few things that makes money for the city of Yukon. Right. So I just thought it was interesting. We'll keep our eye on it. Again, stay tuned. I just found it interesting. Okay. Third thing, before we wrap up with our big piece, recent announcement that Tim Howard was signed to Denver. So I just find this really interesting.
I read the article you sent me.
I also
from
tweeted it.
Top Drawer Soccer. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Here's a question for you. Pretend that would you rather be a fan of Rayo OKC splashing a risky signing with Georgia Samaras, or would you rather be a Rapids fan and you just announced
no doubt a Rayo OKC fan? What's
such a bad signing?
They had a good goalkeeper. I mean, by no means was their goalie the worst. What do they hope to accomplish by that? They're throwing away good money they could have dispersed around on multiple good, decent players in their field players. And not only that, but
why?
It doesn't make any sense.
I'll tell you who it makes a lot of sense for. Tim Howard.
Yeah.
I mean, how old is he? Was he 37?
37.
Jeez. I mean,
and
imagine
you just lost your starting.
Do you think he kept a straight face when his agent they were doing that live phone call with Denver?
Oh, man.
All right. Anyway, that's your hypothetical question. All right. I built up to this on Twitter as well. We've talked about this in the past. Hopefully this comes across as well as I want it to. I am going to go on the record and say I think Raul Martin Presa is a genius. And here's why. So first, who is that? He is the chairman of Rayo Vallecano in Madrid. He is not very popular with the Vallecano fans right now, and he's kind of an easy target.
He's not very popular with the vocal minority of ultras right now.
That's probably a fair way to say it.
Yeah.
Now, the reason why is because they think that the resources that they perceive that he's allocated to Rayo OKC, and he has allocated resources to Rayo OKC, could have been better spent helping the club in the relegation fight.
I think the two specific examples they've given are signing players to help them stay in La Liga or improving physically their stadium, which is
it's not a good
truly is in dire need of repairs.
Okay, so that first point that you just mentioned, signing players to help them in La Liga.
Yeah.
That is what I think. It just finally, when I went to the Samaras signing, it clicked for me.
Yeah.
It just finally clicked. Okay, you're Raul Martin Presa. You're in Madrid. You're severely overshadowed by your city rivals Atletico and Real, and you're a middling La Liga team who's in a relegation league fight. Year after year, decades of this, and yeah, your fans, regardless, are going to be loyal and have your relationship. But don't you think that your fans want more? Wouldn't you finally be okay, I want to do something to break this mold?
Well, I would phrase it differently. I think their fans would like to win the La Liga title. I don't necessarily think that they don't want to be Real Madrid, but they want to win the La Liga title, which has to come. That comes from the same thing.
You got to have good players, right?
Yeah,
okay,
right.
So
I see where you're going with it. I differ. In my opinion, is not. I don't think they want the global marketing. They just want their team to be the best team in La Liga.
Right. Well, okay. So the obvious question has been why Oklahoma City?
Right.
Well, clearly it's not about Oklahoma City. It could be Rayo Fort Lauderdale or Rayo Charlotte, North Carolina.
San
It
Francisco.
doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. What matters is the fact that our ownership group here, it is just the way it all worked out. It's Rayo Oklahoma City. But I swear, if you're a Vallecano fan and you wanted a shot, a risk-free shot at signing a pretty good striker in Giorgio Samaras or some up-and-coming American talent like Billy Forbes or Sebastian Velasquez, guys that needed to break in to MLS sides couldn't get the time, you're not going to get those guys just to sign with Vallecano, no matter what, right? But guess what? And granted, Samaras is rehabbing or he's coming off rehab, but even so much the better. The reason why Samaras signed with Rayo OKC is because of his relationship with Vallecano. He wants to prove himself, right? So he knows, all these guys know that if they play well and get minutes, they're going to get a shot in the big time.
And as we know from the phrasing that Brad Lund used at the signing, the first time he said this, I thought, well, that was funny. He got a vocal slip up there because he announced the first player signing, the very first member of Rayo Vallecano in Oklahoma City, Sebastian Velasquez.
Right.
This signing, he said, welcome to Oklahoma City, the next World Cup experienced player of Rayo Vallecano, Giorgios Samaras. So that's a very intentional Rayo Vallecano. These guys are signing contracts with the mother club.
I think it's brilliant. Let's pretend that I'm just going to pick a guy's name. This is maybe unfair. You're Derek Boateng. You played in 2 World Cups.
It's Mr. Derek Boateng.
Mr. Derek Boateng, who I can't wait to meet, by the way. I want to meet him.
Better call him Mr. Derek Boateng.
Okay, Mr. Derek Boateng. And you know what? You think you've got some life left in your game. But without knowing how old he is, I'm not going to look it up. But he's played in 2 World Cups. So he's definitely old. So any Chelsea or West Brom, they're not going to sign him. He's old, right? They've got promising youth prospects. How else is he? He gets a phone call from the San Francisco Delta saying, hey, man, we're going to start a team. And in 2017, we might start playing. We're still trying to get the stadium figured out. Are you interested? Or Rayo OKC say, hey, look, I know it's kind of random. It's Oklahoma City, but we have this relationship with Rayo Vallecano. Because, you could go play in La Liga. That's a no-brainer for anybody. And if you're a fan of Vallecano, maybe I'm way conspiracy theorying this. I think it's brilliant.
Yeah.
Because let's talk about this angle as well. So what are ways you get players onto your team, right? You buy them, or you evaluate them, you evaluate and develop talent, and you bring them in, or you start an academy. Well, you're telling me that Rayo Vallecano is going to start an academy or get their academy to compete with Atleticos or Real Madrids for local Spanish talent, who might also go to other cities like Barcelona.
They've essentially created a pop-up academy in the, are we still the number 1 GDP country in the world?
I hope so.
So from a marketing standpoint, if anybody's going to have money to spend on stuff, it's going to be the United States. They've created a pop-up academy. They're going to grow their marketing brand, which I know the fans don't care about, but the ownership group certainly does. And the fans should care about, because no matter what percentage of that money it is, they're going to get that money funneled back into the
and
stadium.
From the branding standpoint, again, it goes back to Samaras as like the use case. If it comes down to just pure branding alone, his agent gives him 3 offers. Would he ever have signed with Vallecano? Probably not. Now, granted, it depends on who the other offers are. But, like, come on.
Yeah.
So, anyway, maybe this is all really obvious from day one, and I'm slow, and I'm just picking up on it. But when I was told the reason why Samaras signed is because of his relationship with Vallecano, it all clicked.
And see, I don't think it was obvious, or else we wouldn't get the question, why Oklahoma City? Why 2 teams in Oklahoma City? Why would the NASL choose Oklahoma City? Why would Rayo Vallecano? Why the name? That name is so dumb. Well, it's not dumb. It's all part of a bigger plan. And I think whenever we were discussing this first time, it's a win for everybody.
Yes.
It's a win for Oklahoma City because we get to see great players.
It's a win for the players.
It's a win for the players because these players who are coming off of not great seasons or injury-riddled seasons or have had issues, Sebastian Velasquez have had
or Frank Lampard and Pirlo and Diskerud get signed above you just to like splash names.
Right. So here's your chance to have a great summer season and roll that immediately into a La Liga season. Get signed with a La Liga team. Just move right on up. And for Oklahoma City, we get to see some great soccer players who hopefully mesh well together. And if the model works, then we can continue to see players that they hand select, that Coach Marcina hand selects to come in and play in his model. So it's not like they're just picking whoever from all over the world off the scrap heap to come in and give a shot. These are players. He's not going to pick players just based on big names. These are players that play into the model, who also have a shot to go up and play at the top level.
Now, obvious counterpoint. Let's say that Samaras has like just an amazing. How long is the fall season or the spring season? Was it 8
it's
games?
only like 8 games, yeah.
Let's say that Samaras has a monster 8-game season and just pick a number, scores like 2 goals a game.
Yeah.
Does he immediately leave in the summer and go to Spain? Because that's the problem that you might run into is you would never have you say.
But why would he do that when the fall season starts in July? What's he going to do? Greece is not in the Euros, right? So he's not going to get called up to the Greek national team. He can't. I mean, they got to lock their roster.
I'm just saying.
Going to train with Rayo Vallecano.
Right. I'm saying the problem with this whole kind of minor league affiliate deal is like we in Oklahoma City might get robbed of seeing the big name players play for a long time.
Sure. Yeah. Oh no, I totally agree with that. It might be a one and done thing for some of these big name players.
Which, to be fair,
but the idea
would have been in a lot of other places.
But if it's a one and done thing with these big name players, then the idea is the model is working. So next season we get the same thing. And it's no different. You got to compare apples to apples too. If you're a fan of a USL side or even an MLS side for that matter, any soccer team really, the roster is very fluid. It's the nature of buying and selling players.
Sure.
And that's until even in a top tier market, right? So I mean, I'm a Chelsea supporter. They lost Ramirez in the middle of the season because China came calling with big bucks. So, and how many players are they going to lose in the offseason? Probably a lot because they're having a manager change. So it's just I think it's
good
part
points. So anyway, maybe we just way over belabored that point, but I wanted to talk about it. It hit me. It finally clicked for me, and I'm looking forward to the season to come. We'll obviously keep talking about the team. We would love your feedback. Send us a note, tweet at us, YouTube us
at ScissortailPod on Twitter.
Us.
ScissortailPod@gmail.com. That's
Facebook
all we have
us.
so far. We don't have a Facebook.
MySpaces.
We don't have a MySpace.
All right.
Next week, this is very important. We will have either this weekend or sometime next week. We'll post the last episode before the first game, and then we will hopefully live tweet the first game. I mean, we'll be there. I plan on being there. Are you going to be there with me?
I'm going to be in the booth doing color commentary for ESPN 3.
We're going to be like periscoping that shit and live tweeting. It's going to be nuts. So,
all right, team. Peace out. Stay
later.
tuned.
Boom.